shot at 250 yards is going to be with this Hornady 147 grain ELDM bullet, just to confirm that my chronographer is lined up properly. So I'm not going to get a shot downfield. So 2.43. So I'm just going to go to 2.5. Make sure we get contact on that big yellow paper down there. It's probably going to splash low just because of the bullet weight. All right, here we go. I got nothing. 2673 velocity. Oh, wow. Okay. We are right in the money. Not bad for the first shot. So I need to indicate and mark this one so I don't get it confused with my others. All right. Time to do the ladder load. I'm going to do a lot of talking through this video so I can work as my own spotter when I get home, write the notes in my data book when I get there. So I don't have to break away from my rifle too often and just get onto my shots. .2861. Okay. Right. 12 o'clock. Bullet number 2. .2889. That was a good break. Bullet went left. Bullet 3. Broke a little bit to the 1 o'clock. 2885. Starting to get some case mark. Bullet 4. Broke to the 5 o'clock. 2866. Looks all right. And my hottest load, number 5. Good break. 2895. A lot of pressure to get the bolt out. Yeah, probably won't use that load. Bullet number 5 again. That last one was 2895 if I did not say that. Good break. 2894. Yeah, slight case indication mark. Down to bullet 4. .2875. Bullet 3. 2884. Bolt kind of heavy to pull out. Bullet 2. .2854. Easy bolt extraction. And number 1. Good break. 2829. Easy bolt extraction. All right, let's go look. This is probably the most important tool, doing a ladder load. I've had no way of evaluating this until I get home and watch that video, but this is looking pretty good, whatever this area is right here. Here's the result of my ladder load test. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this concept, imagine this blade being my barrel, and what you're looking for is the bullet to release at a really fine-tuned middle point on what they call a node, where the bullet's not shooting too stiff or too weak. And how you come about finding that is finding initial charge weight, and I started at 43.1 grains and I ended at 43.8, and I went up by 2 grains each in order to find in order to do this test here. I'm going to tell you now, I went with load number 4, and that is at 43.7 grains. When I went out priorly using the 43.8 grains, this was a very stiff bolt, and I had a blown primer there, so I went ahead and dropped it down 1 grain, and that is the charge weight that I'm going to go with. Now, if you actually look at this chart real carefully, the number 1 bullet and the number 3 are probably the true middle when it comes to finding the center point. The reason that I'm not going to go with number 1 is if you look at this group, I had the same issue the last time I went out where the accuracy really was extended, and that's not acceptable to me. It's still under 1 MOA, 0.920, and it really has a nice velocity spread, but because of that group, I'm not going to use that one. And the issue that I have with number 3, and I pulled that one, and you can see that in my notations later that I'll talk about. This is probably the true middle bullet, but the reason I'm not using that is if you look at its velocity spread the day prior, it was at 34 FPS, and when I shot a couple more bullets, it ended up being a 63 FPS velocity spread, which is not acceptable. So I'm going to go with a charge, or bullet charge number 4, which is at the 43.7 grains, and I'm getting an average velocity of 2872, and it has a 12 FPS velocity spread. So the last thing I need to do is a lands test in order to finalize my bullet load here. What I'm going to basically do is jam my bullet inside of the chamber and then keep backing it off, maybe 0.005 off the lands until I find that really sweet point. So stay tuned for that next adventure.